Last time, on the Incorrigible party. Left with more questions than answers after a heated exchange between Benito Algator and Zalmo results in the ex-Prowlers Guild leader turning down an offer to work for Zalmo in a plot to undermine the founder's control over Stormcape. Zalmo then orders Officer Ol Nedbull to decapitate Benito, instructing the party to get rid of the body and leaving with the head. A 6 a.m. sunrise is only about 3 hours away or so as you've spent the time out here burying Benito. Helkruk, you've spurred your carriage, of course, at breakneck speeds now along the slanted slipway to outpace this convoy behind you. And the road junction that serves as your goal, pretty far ahead of you, is, of course, where the slanted slipway and the High Medlin roadway converge to become Anim's Pass, outside of Stormcape. Now, whether you or not you know, certainly Kylia would know as she's traveled these roads fairly recently, actually. But there's still just under about 20 more miles to go along the slanted slipway before you get to that junction. And due to the slipway's slanted nature, it kind of, as it exits Stormcape, it veers more northwest. For, the 5 or 6 miles that you've taken it here, it kind of follows the coastline and the farmlands, until those farmlands end, which is, again, you wanted to get past them. Then it turns more westward again, finally turning southwest to then meet up with the High Medlin roadway. So this means that the slipway's length before it turns into Anim's Pass is in total about 25 miles. And once you would get to the junction and you can turn onto High Medlin roadway, it would be another 20 in basically a straight east direction back to Stormcape City. So you've already set the carriage, you're basically set it at this fast pace of travel, right? Which is going to allow you to travel about 4 miles an hour. You would all be taking a -5 to your passive perception if you're going to maintain that pace. In addition to that pace, though, that you're currently doing, you do have another couple options here, or another option to try to make up some time, because you have a total of about 40 miles to go, right? Which at a fast pace would take you, upwards of 10 hours to this loop. Essentially, you're almost doing a loop, right, from the city all the way to the junction and back to the city. So you've got about a 10-hour, on your current plan, 10 hours ahead of you. But you can choose to push the horses even further for sure an hour, and you can attempt to get more speed out of them for a second hour if you pass a fairly challenging animal handling check. Leave that decision up to you. But for that hour, maybe 2, you can double the fast pace, and that would be going extremely fast, like really pushing the horses to their limit.
How good's your animal handling there, Helkruk?
Helkruk's pretty decent with animal handling.
What does that mean?
It's on a need-to-know basis. What are the potential risks or downsides? If we fail the animal handling check, then we
the
just
horses die.
Aren't able to go that fast. Well,
if you break a horse's leg, he's dead.
Off to the glue
You ended
factory.
his life.
That is absolutely a risk. The animal's well-being is for sure a risk if you were to push them for that second hour. That could easily result in their death and the stranding thereby of the carriage itself, and of course the 3 of you within. Let me describe to you kind of more of your surroundings here as well. So
Yeah, I was gonna say we didn't come up with a cover story, did we?
the road you're on is about 60 feet wide, which is like a similar size to the major roadways of Stormcape. Obviously, that kind of size of a road allows for much more throughput as far as traffic goes, and carriage and wagon supply traffic, right? But unlike the city, out here, they're this far out from the city limits and the farmlands, they're completely untamed and unkempt, right? As you've spurred the forward momentum of the carriage, weeds poking up through the cobblestone are snagging and catching at the carriage's spokes, right? Those said cracks in the paving send, you hit one a little hard at the wrong angle, kind of sends this shudder through the axles of the carriage that you can all feel right in the rough ride. To your south is the kind of the precursor hillside to Range Annam, which is the closest mountain range. Rolling, kind of barren, very barren actually, foothills block off any real level, off-road access. So it would be pretty challenging navigating a carriage if you were to try to take it off-road, even immediately off of the side of the road. To your north, may fare a little better, but as that slanted slipway kind of turns, westward, as I described, abandoning that kind of parallel route along the northward stretching coastline, you begin to see the kind of aged and faded signs of the Skyquake event. An event that you all know was kind of a precursor or a preempting of before Borlow's orphanage was founded. Borlow's being founded as a way to help the orphan children from the casualties in that event. But even from the impact site of the Skyquake event being 50 miles outside of Storm Cape, like you can see the jagged and black and shadowy fissures in the ground that tendrilled towards the city from the impact site. And obviously those fissures that did ultimately make it to Storm Cape and devastated so much of the Denizen district at the time, like those of course have been filled in a long time ago. Anything that would have bisected the slanted slipway, the roadways, fully repaired obviously to keep things operational within the close proximity of the city itself. But obviously out here, like there's no such efforts like that have been made, right? There would be no real point or benefit to the city to spend the resources and the people power to do so. So it's just kind of left this scarred and pockmarked landscape. And in addition to the uneven terrain, the soil itself, perhaps you could quite make this out with your grayscale dark vision you have going on. But again, Kylia has been out here. I'm not sure if Opal or Helkruk would have had much of a reason to be this far away from Storm Cape, but you would all know a generalized description of the based on knowing the historical events of this site. But the soil itself has taken on this kind of deep purple and blue, completely black, almost if it's scorched in some areas, this strange coloring. And again, it seems like it's very faded because this was a number of centuries ago that this occurred. But it appears that any organic matter that was caught, or at least in the extent of the discoloration that you see, it appears like it was petrified, toppled and splintered trees kind of uprooted by like this impact's initial shock wave. They're kind of just laying over, peppering the landscape as well. You make out the petrified bodies of like birds or other critters that would have been living within them. All of this petrification process has left a similar coloring on the organic matter as is on the ground. And in addition to all of this, along this roadway, which you've kind of been seeing as you even made it out to Benito's burial site, about every 3 miles or so, there's abandoned structures, and they look like watchtowers. Now, they're all really just a relic from the past, right? Like a lot of things outside of the city that doesn't serve a function anymore. That's just ultimately what it becomes, this vestigial structure or mannerisms as customs fade in a city. But these structures themselves, they were, of course, manned ones. And this was all before the Giants' rebellion and the subsequent peace treaty that was signed between the giant folk of Range Annam and Storm Cape itself. So obviously they were meant to serve as some type of warning system against attacks coming from the west. Now most of them are barely standing, though. They're burned and hollowed out skeletal structures of charred like wooden framing, though they didn't function exactly as they were meant to, as far as maybe lighting a beacon across the road, right, as this warning, or serving as kind of a defensive position perhaps for the people that would be stationed there. But like their destruction as the forces of giant folk approached the city resulted in kind of affording the city that the thick black plumes of smoke from their fires were well enough to signal the giant's approach better than perhaps anything they could have planned to utilize it in that fashion. So that's kind of your general area, and whether you want to try to take it off road to the north or south, looks like it could be obviously far more difficult than navigating the roadway itself. That's assuming you wanted to try to avoid this like 8 to 10 hour round trip that you're kind of is ahead of you to avoid completely this convoy behind you.
How long is the wagon? Like, can we turn it around on the road, or would it be like Austin Powersing it?
Because of the width of this road, you could definitely turn the wagon around. You might have to 3-point turn it a bit, but obviously Helkruk would be able to do that.
And it's a whole convoy, you're saying, not just one wagon.
It's like at least 2 or 3, I think.
You saw light sources, at least 3 distinct light sources.
The like 8 to 10 hours would put us getting back to the city at roughly what time tomorrow, or like I guess this morning or whatever. It's midnight, midway through the night now.
Yeah, it's like 3 a.m. or so. You'd make it to the city before noon.
Okay.
But we slept all day, or I did.
You absolutely did. That is a very good point. That time frame would not mean you would incur potential levels of exhaustion because of kind of how late you slept. It's after a full 24-hour period with no long rest. So you would have gotten some type of rest within a 24-hour period still. If further activities happened in the city once you arrived there, obviously that would be a different story. But yes, you're currently not in any risk of being inflicted with levels of exhaustion due to exhaustion from not sleeping.
Well, I mean, our sleep schedule's all messed up.
Yeah, burning the candles.
So when do we want to turn around? We're gonna have to just pass these guys. We can't go on forever.
Well, I don't know. I guess, we could turn around, but we risked them potentially trying to stop us and ask us questions, and then somebody, whoever they are, they know that we're out here, and,
we just make up a story why we're out here. We went on a midnight
I know, but
drive.
Let's say worst case scenario, Benito's body gets found, and then people know that we were out here. That's really bad, right? So we could turn around, but that's the downside of having to pass whoever it is in his carriages back there. The other option is we just keep going, and it's going to take a while, but we'll be back, midday tomorrow to the city.
Keep going what? Just like
No. This road will eventually meet up with another one, and we can loop around back.
That's a long road.
It's gonna take a while. I don't know, maybe almost half a day, but we can do it, and that way we never have to run into whoever's behind us.
I mean, Rumkey and Happy are like in withdrawals and stuff. I gotta get back. Like, just turn around. Let's come up with a story and just turn around. They might not even want to talk to us, right, Kylia?
Yeah,
What do you want to do?
well, we don't know. Helkruk has a point. Opal has a point. The horses can't go forever.
Is there blood in our carriage? We wrapped him up, right?
There is no blood in your carriage as you drained him beforehand, but I will remind you that Helkruk and Kylia are caked in grime from head to toe after digging the grave for hours.
We just we should make up a story that someone told us there was treasure and we went looking for it and it wasn't there. I'll go roll in the mud or something.
Helkruk, are you spurring them at a twice the amount? Are you taking initially? You're going to start that hour of double paced movement.
No, I think if it risks the horse's well-being, I think Helkruk doesn't think that it's worth it, because that also makes it. Firstly, he cares about the health of the horse, but also if he ends up injuring one of the horses, how's he going to explain that? Okay,
so I will say for the first hour, essentially that is the first hour is free. If you were to push it for a second hour is where the full risk to the horses.
Okay.
So you can absolutely get like an hour of double pace travel. If you want to like start going at that pace, again, like it's going to be really bumpy on this road, but you'll be able to maintain that speed for an hour, and the horses will be able to. Also keep in mind, I just pictured the two of you kind of like Kylia and Opal are like leaning out of the carriage and yelling at Helkruk up on the front, right? Because you're in this covered carriage, right? So
I didn't know if it was like Oregon Trail style, where we had a little window to him, or what.
Helkruk maybe will just maybe Helkruk, if he keeps getting resistance, can just pretend that he can't hear. Over the noise.
So Helkruk, are you moving at 8 miles an hour for 1 hour? That will cut out an hour off of your 10-hour trip.
I will, if I think it's safe to spur the horses a bit faster for that period of time without putting them at any real risk, then I would do that. But I don't think I would go above and beyond.
All right. So you are currently moving at very, very fast speeds. Opal and Kylia, why don't each of you give me some type of athletics or acrobatics as you are getting bumped around in the back of the carriage. There's no seatbelts in the carriage.
Is this to stay in the carriage?
This is to prevent any knocking around within it.
Can I have advantage, please?
Because we're holding on to each other.
Because I'm not slippery and muddy. Yeah. Something. I rolled a 1.
So
Let's just say
you
it.
don't. That's a very good point. You don't get advantage, but Kylia gets disadvantage because she is slippery and
God!
muddy.
You're kidding me.
Perfect.
You're such a jerk. Technically, the final toll is 3, but I rolled the 1, which is a critical fail.
14. I rolled a 20 for the second one. Haha.
All right. Well, Opal, you only take 1 bludgeoning as you were kind of bounced around. Kylia, you're able to kind of brace yourself and prevent any severe head bonks under the side of the carriage or anything like that. And now the pace has been set for the next hour. Didn't mean to interrupt any of your RPing conversation here, but if you have more to say to each other, go for it.
Opal's gonna be like,
Ow! Why can't we... Turn around, Helkruk. Turn around.
Opal, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think it's worth the risk. Yeah, it's not. We're not going to be gone for all that long. No one knows to be looking for us right now. Anyway, it's the middle of the night.
Okay.
It's really only half a day that we would be losing of daylight. So I don't know. I just who knows who's in those carriages behind us? It could be trouble.
Everyone think of a story, or... We need a story for if we run into people. What are we doing out here?
We're camping.
With literally no equipment and you're covered head to toe in mud.
No, you make a good point.
Do you see any lakes? Let's wash you guys off.
Yeah, if we happen to come across some water, that would be a really good reason to stop.
We need to stay ahead of them, though. We can't pull over.
Well, we could, go off the trail. They're not gonna, follow us if they're going somewhere.
We think that might be more suspicious.
Yeah.
We're going for a swim. We were hot.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah.
what's the season? I don't even know. What season is it? What's the temperature in Celsius and Fahrenheit for the listeners?
Well, it is spring.
Weather die.
And speaking of which,
We haven't done
there is
weather
a
die.
spring weather table that we haven't really rolled on. I've kind of been rolling on it behind the scenes as things are playing out. But Helkruk, why don't you go ahead and do that for me right now? Roll me a d10, please.
And it starts to rain and hail and... Oh, there's a tornado in the distance. Oh my.
No, but the rain will take. The hail... Oh.
So that is a 1.
Oh,
The very early hours of the morning appear. You can see clear skies above you. It's already fairly warm. Almost unseasonably warm for this kind of early-ish spring that you're in. So yeah, the weather is not looking too badly for you, but no rain to potentially wash off in or anything like that.
is it swimming warm?
If you are adventurous, swimming warm for sure.
Don't know what that means.
I guess Opal's not very adventurous.
It's warm enough, but not like the middle of summer, I think is what he's saying. Is there, I mean, I guess, like, you know, we'd have to go quite a ways off the beaten path to make it to the shore to the north of us, but do we know of any other bodies of water that are around, or no?
I mean, you can each roll me a nature check.
But yeah, it's a good point that stopping could be problematic too, because they might catch up with us and wonder.
Well, that's why
what's
you go
going on.
off the trail. Chances are unlikely 3 carriages will follow you. I rolled a 22.
14 again.
For nature, Helkruk has a 9.
Kylia and Opal definitely know that there are no major bodies of water anywhere around you. Again, like you said, Bill, you'd have to go, miles north to hit the ocean again, and even further south to get to the nearest, huge like lake or large body of water. As I said, this kind of terrain, this hillside, it's all incredibly barren. There's like even very little vegetation that really grows here.
From the impact of the skyquake stuff?
I mean, perhaps that's the cause of it.
Well, unless they also really spur their horses on, we should be putting more and more distance between us, so that's a good thing.
Could we sprint for an hour and then go slightly off into like the thicket and try to hide our stuff and then just get back on the path?
Well, you after that hour you've spurred here, yes, as you surmise, Bill, if they continue at their observed pace, you've put like a 5-mile distance between you and them, right, at your pace, because you would have in that hour gone 8 miles to their 3, so you're theoretically more than an hour ahead of them on the road. And again, as the landscape around you I described would be difficult to navigate north or south of the road, and that lack of vegetation this far out would also mean not much cover unless you really got into the hillside to your south, right? But that is going to pose risk to the horses and the carriage itself. So you can definitely attempt to. It may be fairly difficult.
Maybe you just slow them down and keep going. You'd make the decision, I think, as a horse guy.
We think we're in for it now.
I'm not really excited about it either, but I think it's our best option, really.
My mom and dad are gonna be like so suspicious. I was just gone for several days. Now I didn't even tell them we have a new house. Anyway, it's fine.
Well, maybe this would be a good chance to mention that you have a place that you've been looking after. I don't know, would they be upset about that, or suspicious, or asking too many questions?
Yeah.
Well, we'll figure something out. We got some time to think about it.
They're the type that, like, they're such tinkerers. I probably have, like, a tracker on me anyway or something. Should we message Rumpke and let him know we're okay?
It is now like 4 in the morning. You would certainly expect that like Rumpke and Happy would both be asleep.
No, they're sitting there shivering, withdrawing, and chucking.
So if somebody wants to message Rumpke, absolutely.
If there's a chance that they're sleeping, maybe we should let them be. We can't do anything for them, and they can't do anything for us right now.
Yeah, but it's Rumpke. He could be, like, really sick from the stoop.
It's its own fault, isn't it?
Well, maybe him, but Happy didn't choose this.
Again, what are you going to do for him?
Cure him.
From here?
Oh, no. Sorry. I just, like, didn't understand the context. I want to cure them.
Great. Can't do it from here.
Helkruk, how much longer do we have? Are we there yet?
I was waiting for that line.
Had to.
On this extended trip, other than Helkruk, I mean, I guess there would be nothing stopping Opal or Kylia from attempting to try to sleep in the back of the carriage, other than the bouncy ride. You've kind of now gone after this hour of 8 miles an hour. You're now half that right back to the fast pace at 4, which isn't imposing any risk upon the horses or the carriage. Again, the road itself is, not maintained. It's very bumpy and choppy, but nothing that would again risk your vehicle here.
Kylie's going to stay awake and watch the scenery go by, partially trying to keep an eye out for the carriages behind us, and partially just looking to see if something perhaps looks familiar.
And I would say, Kylia, like these burnt out watchtowers approach within the limits of all your dark visions, right? And again, as the hours progress, the sky begins to lighten as, the sun starts to rise. You've walked by these watchtowers. I mean, this would have been the road that you probably would have taken out of the city. At the very least, it would have been the road that you took back in, because on your way back, you stopped at Lehan's to speak to him and Helkruk. So definitely, yes, like this is fairly familiar for these structures. Some of them obviously in various states of ill repute here. Some of them almost burned completely down to the foundation. Others are like half standing. There's one that looks like it's almost completely untouched. But yes, definitely, like where you are, right? And again, you can judge the distance in which you have to travel before your journey is at its end here. Opal, are you kind of doing something similar, just kind of keeping an eye on things? Are you trying to get any shut-eye?
I'll just nod off here and there. I don't know.
Okay.
I did just wake up. I feel like I just woke up.
And this fast pace, again, I mentioned that before, it does impose a -5 to your passive perceptions here as you go. So into hour 2, 3, and by the time you hit the kind of 20-mile mark, approaching Anim's Pass Junction, the sky is almost fully back to being blue. Still, the temperature, slight rise in it over these past few hours. Very kind of warm, very pleasant. I wouldn't say overly warm. Now, not relying on the extent of your dark visions, for ahead of you now, you come to another kind of charred watchtower here. And again, this is kind of one of those ones that's in some of the best condition that you've seen so far. You can see the charred, toppled remains of fallen second and story of the tower itself. It's almost like it was severed at the top of the after the first story here from the fires, charred protrusions along the what is now kind of the parapet of this square structure, where it collapses. The flames had engulfed it. And you can also make out what looks like something that, Kylia, something you don't recognize, almost as if they're parked. They're all kind of like on their side, kind of leaning up against each other in this disorderly row. They look like sleds. They're kind of nothing more than crudely shorn planks of wood that have just been nailed together haphazardly, and then nailed again to a wooden pair of runners, basically. Each of them looks like they have a thick looking, kind of dirty and grungy rope attached to the front of them that kind of forms this loop, right, that you would kind of pull it by. It looks like there's 10 of them just kind of in this haphazard row here. In addition to the tower here at the junction itself, in the very center of it, you see kind of this stone mound that holds a large wooden pole in place. And there's weathered signage that kind of hangs from 3 arms that point towards each of the roads that split from its base, right, as it's in the center of this kind of 3-way intersection now. So from the perspective of this standing signage, Anim's Pass is to the west. Slanted Slipway, of course, you can see this sign points towards you, right? Pointing from, again, the sign's perspective, Slanted Slipway to the northeast, and the High Medlin Roadway to the southeast.
So these sleds look like it would have been some sort of humanoid person that would be pulling the ropes, not dogs or something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any additional type of rigging that you would attach even to a horse or something. From this distance, you can kind of judge how big they are. You're still 120 feet away maybe as you're approaching. Because are you slowing on the approach to this junction here?
I would, yeah. I would slow down a little bit just so we can make sure that we don't take a wrong turn, and maybe also get a closer look at these, or a better look at these sleds, which I don't know if I've ever seen something like that before, if I would recognize what kind of people or creature would use them, but yeah, I would slow down a little bit.
Again, very crudely constructed. Like, yeah, they don't look like they'd be attached to any type of sled animal, like to be pulled by some type of beast at all. They really look like, if you just think of like a downhill kind of basic sled with a rope on the front of it, that's essentially what they kind of look like. But they are much larger than what you would expect probably a regular humanoid would use, right? Like a medium-sized creature would use. They're like 10 feet long, 5 to 7 feet wide by the looks of it. They're quite big. Giant sleds. So I'll maybe kind of like, as I slow the horses down and we're coming to this juncture, I'll lean back and kind of holler back into the cabin and say,
Hey, Opal, Kylia, Seychardal, we made it to the fork in the road, or the place we need to turn here.
So do it.
There's also some big sleds out here. I don't recognize them. What do you guys think?
Some what?
They look like they're
Some
sleds.
heads. Oh, what?
Sleds. I don't understand what the confusion is.
What are they doing?
Oh, I don't know. Just thought it was interesting.
Okay, turn around.
You see any people?
No people.
Okay.
Oh, it was nice talking to you too.
I'm getting
Talk to
hungry.
you later.
Do we see any signs of the other carriages that were behind us?
Everyone can make me a perception check. So Helkruk, you're continuing forward, yes? You're not stopping.
well, the girls did seem really interested, so I might stop.
It's like passing a sign, world's biggest ball of yarn. Nobody seems to.
Always
hey
a
kids,
scam.
look at this.
It's a freaking mirror. Every time it's an illusion.
Yeah, no, I would be planning to turn towards High Midland Roadway, which would bring us back to the egress of Bilben and the denizen.
Well, Opal rolled a 3.
Do we still have a -5 on our perception?
No, would have only applied to a passive. You're no longer traveling at that pace. So just straight roll.
26.
Wow, 10 for Helkruk.
So Kylia, as you are, as you said, you're trying to remain as vigilant as possible, keeping an eye out for this convoy of carriages in which you were trying to put well behind you. You know, looking behind you, you stick your head out looking for perhaps maybe wagon tracks or signs of additional passage through here. None of that you find, but you do see and detect, shifting forms amongst the kind of the holes and charred missing slats in what's left of this watchtower. There's clearly movement within. You have perhaps a second to shout something to Helkruk, as Helkruk, you now see figures emerging from the watchtower. They step out into this road in front of the wagon. Can you make me an animal handling check as they kind of jump out? Kylie, if you say something to Helkruk as you see this movement?
Yes. Helkruk, look out!
Animal handling was 12.
You said you were good at that.
Well, I'm rolling very bad today.
With Kylia's warning, I'll give you advantage to attempt to either slow the carriage as they try to block your way or navigate around them.
Nat 20, baby.
Oh, there we go.
You're the best, Leland.
All right, so you're trying to stop or dodge?
Are they close enough for me to be able
We're
to
not
tell
in a ram.
what type of
Chevy?
Thank goodness you're not.
what type of humanoid? Like, are they roughly our size, or are they very large, like giants?
Yes. So as they emerge, and again, there's no dark vision penalty here as the sun is rising. As they step out, all this happening in the fraction of a second, they emerge. Kylia's warning, having seen them before they hit the sun, and 3 ogres step out.
Oh, frick.
They're clearly not holding anything in their hands. They stand about 10 feet tall as they have the duck under the standard sized doorway in the the side of this tower as they emerge, squeezing themselves through as quickly as they can. They look like they're dressed in tatters, and they look kind of slightly malnourished, like they have sunken eyes and cheeks. Right, their faces are very gaunt looking. But again, they purposely stepped in front of the carriage, and they have like their arms raised, like waving at you. So, are you attempting to stop or swerve?
What does Helkruk know about ogres, and if they're typically friendly or hostile, or?
Why don't you wave to it?
you can roll me a history.
Throw back. Just wave
that's
and
a
walk.
Deep cut. Yeah. Another 12 for history.
So, what Helkruk would know, again, you have been making these decisions. Perhaps you don't quite have the frame of mind or presence of mind to be running through all the list of the facts that Helkruk knows about ogres in his head. But giant folk in general, certainly ogres would be considered giant folk. As far as giant folk in Stormcape, you know that there is this peace. Like there's been no problems for centuries, right, between the two. They are never seen around the city. Obviously, this is fairly far outside of the city limits. But even this extent, like, perhaps having exchanges with Kylia where she had encountered actual giants at the base of the mountains, obviously that is way further. That is like days of foot travel compared to where you are here. So this seems like they are incredibly close to Stormcape, and they look like, based on their status, like they look like they're hungry.
Okay. Do they like to eat humanoids?
Exactly what I was just thinking.
They cannibal ogres.
You would know that like ogres, trolls, hill giants, all of which kind of those types of creatures respect strength above all else, and they would not be above consuming a humanoid. No.
Fee, fi, fo, fum sort of situation.
Correct. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna swerve.
I smell the blood of a half orcish.
Yeah, Helkruk's gonna try and swerve. He's not sure that he trusts their intentions.
Okay, so you have successfully. You're not going to run into them. There's, again, this is pretty wide roadway here. You've kind of swerved to the right, as the watchtower is kind of ahead of you and on your left, right, as you're traveling in the direction that you are. And the ogres, like they have their arms up, like as I described, and one of them just starts yelling as you swerve away from them. Iko Bantan Kilaka! 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 Helkruk can hear more grunts, and Kylia and Opal now, all of you can see more movement from within the watchtower as another 3 of these ogres appear at this charred threshold. Again, they are not carrying any weapons either, kind of dressed similar rags, but we could roll initiative.
Frickin'.
Oh no.
Just couldn't turn around on the road and come up with a story. Helkruk, I blame you.
So we are going to be heading south, correct?
Yep. 21 on initiative for Helkruk.
21 for Kylia.
Ooh. What's your, what is it, Dex? I'm +6.
I'm +6.
Whoa,
All right,
what next?
rock,
Strength?
paper, scissors.
Yeah, the Rochambeau for it.
You can go first since you're in the front.
Yeah, that makes sense. I rolled a 9. Well, I rolled a 6, but I got a 9. I was dozing off. Didn't even see the sleds.
Helkruk, you are first. So you can, basically in the reins of the carriage, they can move 60 feet in a round. So it's basically, you consider the carriage to be like a mount. So their movement is 60. If you were to, you could like theoretically, they could move 60 and then you could get off and still move your 30 and have an action if you wanted. And if you want to spur them again, as in like dash for them, it would take your action like a normal dash. You could move them I mean, you could move them 120 feet if you wanted.
So yeah, so basically, like, they're far enough away that I'm not going to be able to melee attack them. I think it makes sense for me to put all my focus into spurring the horses on down a trajectory that's going to hopefully miss all of them and stay far enough away that they can't try and grab us or catch us as we go sail by. And I'll probably, I think I would probably try to get the horses to speed up a little bit.
All right, so you want to basically dash with the carriage, so you're going to have a total of 120 feet. You can spur.
Yeah, I
Don't
think
break
so.
a horse.
So after your swerve with your very good animal handling check, you kind of put yourself on this bit of not a great trajectory, as now you're almost gonna have to swerve them. You've swerved to the right to avoid them. Now you have to come back to the left to make it around kind of that signage in the middle of this junction, right? Almost like this roundabout. So go ahead and make me another animal handling check to do that. It's only going to be DC 10, though. Very easy.
10 is not very easy.
11.
You're right. 10 is technically not very easy, but 10 is easy. So an 11, 11 does it.
Easy's 5, very easy's 1.
Yeah, I guess maybe given that we're going to be doing this elaborate swerve right to the right and then to the left, I maybe wouldn't be spurring them to speed up that much because it's going to make that maneuver even more difficult. But, well, I don't know. Mechanically, like, if you think I'm not going to be at a great deal of risk to, like, flip the carriage or anything, then yeah, I would kind of dash with them if they're capable of doing that.
Yeah, that's kind of what your animal handling check was for. It's like a representation of your experience, behind the reins. Obviously, knowing the limitations of the carriage itself, etc. And of course, you're well acquainted with all of the horses from Leehand. I mean, you currently have Algie and Luna nestled into the reins pulling this carriage, so you certainly know their limitations as well. Successfully dashing, so another 60 from here.
I also forgot to ask, do I understand? I don't think I assume they're speaking Ogre, or...
Well, based on the need for the toggle translator with the bread battle book, none of you speak the language that they are speaking.
Okay.
I can't divulge which language it is, of course, but none of you speak that language.
It's probably Ogrish.
Yeah, I speak Common, Dwarvish, Gnomish, and Orc.
You moved too far, now I can't even attack, dang it.
Kylia, you are next.
I am going to cast Silent Image and cause a line of trees to form between us and them. Just trees come from out of nowhere and just kind of hopefully confuse them.
How large can you make the image?
Shrubs.
Little tiny little 15-foot cube.
Giant oaks. Ooh,
15-foot cube, okay.
that's not bad.
So that is the extent of your image. Is that about where you kind of want to place? So you want to put it right between the carriage and them, basically, right?
Yes.
Okay, so 15-foot cube of trees. What type of trees would you like to illusion?
Evergreen. Pine tree.
Okay, again, both have a lot of varieties.
A green tree with brown branches and trunk. And preferably no face on
That
it.
narrows it down significantly.
With no face.
And I assume you are not exiting the carriage.
No, and I don't want to actively attack them because I don't know what exactly they're doing. But I also want to just, confuse them and perhaps hide a little bit of us.
Smart.
Okay. Yeah, so they, the ones initially in the road that kind of blocked your path, they've kind of turned right with you, Helkruk, as you spurred the carriage. Now, Kylia, you've sprouted up this, block of evergreen trees, and they're just still, yelling, Kilnaka! Kilnaka! And pointing at the carriage.
I want to telekinetically shove the closest one to us also. Try and shove him into his buddy. I need a strength save.
What's the range on that? You're well within range?
30 feet?
Oh, 30 feet? You are not close enough then, unfortunately.
You're 60 feet away.
Then never mind.
55 to the closest.
Good thought. Good thought. Now, so minor illusion is your action, and then that shove is your bonus action, right? So you couldn't ready the shove if, like, in the event they get close to you, because you've already used your action, right?
Correct. Yeah, the shove would be the bonus.
Okay. More movement from the watch tower, something bigger. And over the top of the broken structure, right, the very top jagged charred edge of it, rises an enormous head, then continues rising, thick neck, then broad, like moss-covered shoulders of a hill giant. And it claws and climbs itself through and out.
How'd they even get him in there?
And it, taking in the scene for half a second, I'll pull them gun purple. Uk no Yaglav Herkshire! Uk no Laglav Herkshire!
No.
Unlike the ogres, he is carrying a great club. He will run towards the carriage.
They're gonna eat the horses, aren't they?
So he moves 30 feet. And actually, he will dash
He's gonna eat Luna!
to try to get in front of the carriage. But you see, as he's running, he's going to actually use a bonus action here. He leaps, right, as part of his dash movement. And basically, like, one big elbow slamming into the roadway, and it sends shudders and shock waves outwards. So this is strange because you're in the carriage. I'm gonna put the weight of this save on Helkruk's shoulders because he's driving. But Helkruk, can you make me a dexterity saving throw, please?
Adjusted 20.
Okay, all right. The DC was 16, so as you know, like the cobblestone is almost like rippling and becoming even more jagged and unruly as it was. Algae and Luna, like almost like you're continuing your momentum here. They're like about to misstep, and you kind of just slighted the slightest tweaks on the reins. As you know, we're gonna wrap that into your dex save, preventing the horses in the carriage from overturning. However, the back of the carriage kind of kicks up with Opal and Kylia inside. Both of you can make me an acrobatics or athletics again to kind of stabilize yourself in the back of this wagon.
Hey! Low center of gravity. I got 21.
18.
Okay, both of those are going to pass. So you're going to take half of this damage. So as a result of this hill quake, this kind of affects the ground and anything within 20 feet of it. So the back of the carriage kicks up and it slams down.
I feel like I'm whining a lot, but it's because I have no control. I wanted to turn around hours ago.
So you're going to take half of this. You're each going to take 12 bludgeoning as it's like you're in a shaker cup that someone has picked up and rattled around, slamming into each other, into the side of the carriage. Opal, you kind of careen off of the door, and the door on the right side flings open, now wildly smacking against the side of the carriage. And as the carriage lands, it also takes it takes the full brunt. It takes 24 points of damage. And it has an HP of 25.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my goodness.
We went too long without a fight. We gave him too much time to prepare. And,
However, due to Helkruk's success, in addition to preventing it from overturning, I'm going to give it a damage reduction of 10 points. So not quite half the save, but a reduction.
Holy. This is terrible. We are so far from home. Oh, Frodo.
Next up, pack of ogres, the first 3. All they can do is run after this carriage.
Guess now would be a bad time to yell, "Eat me."
Eat my shorts.
So the first 3 that you initially saw kind of sprint out, and they have to take a bit of a, eating up about 15 feet of their movement, avoiding this newly sprouted copse of illusory trees. It doesn't seem like they're interested. It doesn't seem like they would perhaps like to eat this type of vegetation at all.
Oh, I should have made a goat.
Oh, that would have been a little better. It definitely prevents them from reaching you, but they do dash. Next in initiative is Opal.
All right, I move like 5 feet. I get to the edge of the back. Is it open?
No, so this carriage is completely enclosed. There are doors on the left and right of it, on the sides. So this door here is already smashed open. There's nothing stopping you from like opening the other one, right, and leaning out and trying to do something.
Yeah, the way we're angled, the left door would give me a better line of sight on the first 3 ogres. How many hit points would ogres have? Like
A couple.
I have like no damage.
You have like a bottle of grease and ball bearings you could throw like underneath all of them.
I gotcha. Just Opal's gonna Tasha's caustic brew the crap out of these guys, which is a stream of acid in a line 30 feet long, 5 feet wide. So I can just like bridge and hit all 3 of them. Each creature in the line must succeed on a dex save throw or be covered in acids for the spell's duration, which is up to a minute. If they're covered, they need to use an action to scrape off or wash the acid off itself for another creature. And I have +4 because of my new trait. When I'm level 5, Alchemical Savant, when I cast a spell using my alchemist supplies as the focus, I get a bonus roll to the spell. The roll is either for restoring hit points or damage roll that uses acid, fire, necrotic, or poison. It's my intelligence modifier, so yeah.
So they're making saving throws.
Dex saves.
Okay, very good choice. They do not look like they are nimble.
This is slightly above super easy. It's 15. DC save.
Okay, well, with their dexterity modifier of -1, the highest is a 14, then a 10, then a 9. So they all fail.
They're all going to be covered in this acid, which is great. So that is 10 damage each. And then, yeah, to be uncovered from the acid, it takes an action. Or, like, you can uncover, like, the person next to you, but it's an action. And then if you're covered in the acid, it's 2d4 damage at the start of each turn.
Okay, well, we do not have to worry about that, because as you spray this out, and yes, because they're 10 by 10 size on this map, right? They're large creatures, able to catch all 3 in your line. One, takes the brunt of the spray in the shoulder. The other gets it right into the face. The one behind, the other kind of getting almost like a back spray as it hits his buddies here. Their flesh quickly melts away. Their clothing just disintegrates under the acid, killing all 3 of them.
What?
They did only have a few hit points.
Holy. Oh, because they're malnourished. Oh, I almost kind of feel bad for them.
They just wanted to hang out.
They just wanted
obviously.
a little nibble.
Yeah.
Just a finger or 2.
Guys, they're weak to acid. Get your kits out. Oh wait.
What kit?
Opal, I assume you are also not exiting the carriage.
No, I'm going to hang out this door. That's fine.
Okay.
I feel like the carriage has 1 hit point that might help, you know?
All right.
It's pretty messed up, I can tell.
Well done. Ogre Goon Squad 2. We're a little closer than the first grouping.
When you said that, I thought you were saying ogre goo.
Well, perhaps that is a little prophetic.
They're walking through their friends' remnants.
They too kind of avoid the illusory tree, and yes, now like immediately you're all hit with that burning, melting smell of ogre flesh. But rather than close the distance like they just watched the Goon Squad 1 do, they instead kind of scrounge in the dirt off the side of the road. Now you're kind of coming out onto the High Medland roadway right now, traveling southeast, right, from this junction, which of course is the road that takes you back to Stormscape. But essentially they just kind of scoop up stones and just hurl them. 3 stones hurled at the wagon. So Opal, you Opal, you're still at the doorway, so one of them is going to target you. The other two will attempt to hit the wagon. Ooh, against Opal is only a 10 to hit.
It misses?
Try again.
Against the wagon is a 17.
Oh, frick. We're about to be toast. Sitting ducks.
And they deal 4 more damage to the carriage, bringing it to 7 hit points. Next in initiative, a third goon squad emerges from the watchtower. This comprised of 4 more ogres.
There's no way they all fit in there. There's
They
like right on
actually
top of each
do.
other.
They actually legit do.
It's a clown car watchtower. It is a pretty big watchtower, I guess.
Now, they too, they're kind of like seeing all this for the first time, really, right as they emerge from the watchtower, and they just is still like seeing the carriage on its way out. Kylia! 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 They are a little too far away to hurl rocks, though, so they're going to dash, essentially moving south to your southeast movement, trying to cut you off.
What does a 0 hit point wagon do?
Ceases to function as a wagon.
The wagon still has hit points.
Falls in pieces.
Can I use my healing spell?
If you have the mending spell, you absolutely
I don't.
could utilize
I don't.
that. Okay. So Helkruk, you currently have the Hill Giant Clobberer. He is actually lying prone, however, though, after his Hillquake elbow drop. That did give him the prone condition. So he's kind of on his side, even lying prone. He's still 6 feet tall, right? He's, standing upright, 16 feet tall. So, he's right next to you. If a passing glance from him being prone would be a disadvantage, his opportunity attack, right? Other than that, unless you're stopping the carriage to get out and fight him toe to toe, you don't have many options here.
No, I can't think of any ability or attack that Helkruk could do from range. So yeah, I'm just gonna focus on guiding the carriage and the horses around this hill giant and trying to keep as much of a pace as possible so that we can outpace these enemies.
Okay, give me another animal handling here. Again, only DC 10 to get around him.
Man, he's cutting it close. 12.
Okay, so you don't run into this prone hill giant, but you can navigate around him. He will take an opportunity to attack, specifically against you, Helkruk, as you pass him. The low is a 27 to hit. That's with disadvantage.
Wow.
Dang.
So that hits.
A little bit.
You're also going to need to make me a DC 16 strength saving throw, please.
Well, Helkruk, it was nice knowing you. Make sure we'll loot your body and take back all the goods.
Oh dang, I got good strength. 19.
Okay, very good. So you take 14 bludgeoning damage from the opportunity attack, and because you saved on your strength saving throw, you are not knocked off of this pilot position of the wagon. Basically, you grip hard on the reins, right? It's in the middle of you swerving around him. You get smashed, just able to stay on this wagon as you move at least 60 feet. Again, if you want to use your action to spur them forward, you can do that as well.
Yes, I will. I will do that. I think we need to get the heck out of here and get away from them as quickly as possible.
Okay, so that takes you another 120 feet, which takes us off of our battle map. At this point, you have no enemies between you and the road. Kylia, you can absolutely take some type of parting shot if you'd like, because you were next in initiative. But assuming you want to keep going, you can keep going. You are vastly faster, right? Your speed is far superior than any of these creatures on ground.
I don't really have anything I can do. I didn't bring my bow and arrow, so... I mean, I have daggers and crap on me, but I don't have the bow and arrow, so...
Then that is fine. Then because of your speed, the carriage, Helkruk, you're feeling the lag and the damage from the carriage, but it's one wheel is wobbling back and forth off its axis, but it's still functional. You can keep going. I will say, because of the damage, there's a potential risk to the carriage itself. traveling at the fast pace, but if you were to move at a normal pace for the rest of the journey, then you would make it fine, assuming you don't run into any more giant folk on the way.
Yeah, if our normal pace is going to outpace them at whatever fastest pace they can go, then I wouldn't push things.
Well done. You are back on the high Medellin roadway, now traveling at 3 miles per hour rather than 4, which is basically going to eat up the hour that you had saved in that initial first quicken the double fast pace. And now on the high Medellin roadway for it's 20 miles of this road to get to the city, but after about 14 to 15, again, you're seeing more of the kind of burnt out watchtowers even here, right? As you continue southeast for a ways until eventually it is basically due east back to the city, right? But after that 15 miles, you again reach the farmland, the extent of the farmland here. Now, rather than only to the south of you, both sides of the road is surrounded by the hillside terrain, right? Which begins to lessen once you get into the extent of the city's farmlands. You can see, like, even with the diminished in elevation and variation, there's just kind of pockets of farmland amidst the hillside, right? They basically planted anywhere that is arable and relatively flat to try to utilize as much of the workable terrain as they can. So obviously not like the extended like miles of acreage, the far-reaching acreage of farmland immediately outside of the city. On this road, you don't, before you hit the farmland, easy traveling, relatively so. Just still uneven terrain until you get to that 5-6 mile perimeter outside of the city. And by now it is 11 noon, right? Probably closer to past lunchtime with that additional hour. And you're driving by, farm hands out in the fields, right?
Do we look like suspicious though? Like the way the wagon looks?
Yes, the wagon is nearly completely destroyed. You certainly get looks. If you want to potentially try to do something before you...
Just aware of the fact people are clocking that it was us, or at least Helkruk, I guess. Just mental note.
Opal, can you make the wagon invisible?
No. Also, we have to talk about the giants. I thought you met giants. I thought they were nice. I thought it was fine. What the heck? What was that?
Most of those weren't giants, and they weren't the giants that
I know, but there was one giant, and he's the one that wrecked us. What? Okay. It's fine.
They're not the same people.
Yeah, we need to stay awake and get back on a
Some
normal sleep
people are
schedule.
nice,
I know.
and some
I'm
people
hungry.
are not nice, and they were not nice.
Yeah, they weren't. I'm so hungry right now.
I don't know what I'm gonna tell Leanne on what happened to this carriage. Look at it, it's almost destroyed.
I hang my head out.
What?
Said I don't know what I'm gonna tell Leanne about this carriage. It's totally wrecked. Look at it.
You can't fix it?
You tell him it's a training exercise to teach the new ones how to fix carriages, so you had to go rough it up a bit.
I don't think he's gonna buy that.
Just tell him the truth. What does it matter?
Oh, I'll think of something, and maybe I can fix some of it up before I bring it back. I don't know. I don't have a lot of tools, but take a look at what I can do.
Oh, yeah. When we get back to Lehan's, I want some supplies. Like, do you ever have needles, like injectors for the horses? I need an injector, and I just want to take a look at what you got. Like, medicine-wise. I'm gonna fix this stupor stuff.
Okay.
I'll shoot Rumpke with a horse needle, whatever.
I hope you know what you're doing, Opal.
I totally know what I'm doing, obviously.
She knows what she's doing.
I'm the one that's clean here.
You're driving covered in mud.
Are you going back? Are you taking the carriage back to Lehan's? Or are you going to attempt to do, like, you want to take it to, like, the transit point closest to the keep and storing it there to do something before it goes to Lehan's? Like, what do you want?
Yeah. No, well, our that transit point near our keep, and the keep is kind of on the way anyway before we'd have to make a turn to go back up northwest to Lehan. So yeah, I'll drop it at that transit point, and maybe if anybody's there, I'll tell them to just hang on to it for a bit. I'm gonna come back and see if I can mend it a little bit before it goes back to the stables, and then I'd like to go to the keep and check on Rumkey and Happy.
Through the city gate, the eagerest of Bill Bent on the High Medlin roadway, limping the carriage to the South Den station, pulling it in, unhooking the horses, and storing both in the stable and the carriage house.
Ah, there you are, my friend. Just in time to witness the unveiling of my latest creations. Feast your eyes upon these vials of liquid wonder, guaranteed to add a spring to your step and a twinkle in your eye. For you, my friend, a special price. Just a handful of coins for a vial of boundless possibilities. Consider it a small price to pay for the thrill of the unknown. And remember, if you ever seek any more of my concoctions, just visit theincorrigibleparty.com for updates on my latest wares. Before you go, I have heartfelt thanks to Tabletop Audio and Sarastro Music for setting the ambiance with their enchanting melodies. If you wish to support our endeavors, head over to Patreon and join our merry band of adventurers. And don't forget to join our Discord realm. That's where the real magic happens. Finally, dear listeners, share the magic, rate us, review us, and spread the word. Let your friends uncover the finest tales this side of the material plane. May your gears turn smoothly and your inventions never rust. Happy adventuring! Oh, I forgot to mention, there's a World Anvil website. It's all on incorrigibleparty.com. Sorry.
This has been a Sounds of Steel production.